In Uganda, a country richly endowed with natural resources, including minerals and oil and gas, the story of Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum begins towards the end of 2009, when like-minded private sector players came together with a common goal of optimizing the opportunities from both the mining and petroleum sectors, spearheaded by Honorable Dr. Eli Karuhanga, who was the president of Tullow Uganda at the time. The oil and gas community joined the mining community, which was the Chamber of Mines, to form the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. The story starts with 14 members, each contributing 500,000 shillings in membership fees. The 14 members were mainly exploration companies: Rhino Exploration, Oryx Minerals, Neptune Petroleum, Flemish Investments, Canmin Resources, NPK Resources, Gold Empire Limited, Oli Gold Muruli Limited, Crown Uganda Limited, Busitema Mining Company Limited, Marubeg Company Limited, AUC Mining, Tullow Uganda Operations, Barclay Reef Limited. Members would meet monthly at Tullow offices to discuss several issues, including how to harness opportunities in the oil exploration, how to engage other sector players including government, how to grow the membership to form a formidable private sector voice and platform for dialogue between the government and the private sector.
The first governing council of the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum was composed of 9 distinguished leaders. They were led by the Honorable Dr. Eli Karuhanga, who was the president of Tullow Uganda Operations at that time. His vice chairperson was Mr. John Muroli Muyambi, the managing director of Oli Gold. The general secretary was Mr. Nathan Wolkauwanda, the managing director for NPK Resources. Then the treasurer was Ms. Kellen Kayonga, the managing director for Marubeg Company Limited. The council members at the time had Mr. Paul Shawen, the late, who was the managing director for Busitema Mining. We had Honorable Richard Kijuka, the managing director for Barclay Reef Limited. We had Bruce Mill, the country manager for Flemish Investments Limited. We had Marilyn Hill, the country manager for Neptune Petroleum, and Gary Watkins, the late, who was the country manager for Rhino Exploration Services.
At the dawn of a new decade, the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum was launched. The launch coincided with the state visit of the South African president to Uganda. So UCMP was launched by His Excellency Jacob Zuma, the President of the Republic of South Africa then, and His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda, on 25th March 2010 at Hotel Africana. The launch was sponsored by over 30 companies. With over 44 members at this moment, the chamber had become a very formidable force in the extractive sector, attracting players from the entire value force. The chamber launched its first magazine. A seed was planted as a foundation for a common industry voice, business-to-business engagements and networking, lobbying for an investor-friendly business environment, among so many others. In 2011, the Chamber held its first annual general meeting. Monthly members networking, participated in the East African Petroleum Conference, established collaborative partnerships with similar associations, missions and government ministries.
In 2012, the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum participated in the consultative process for the legislation of the petroleum industry for the upstream and midstream. At that time, there was a huge information gap, especially amongst the service providers for the oil and gas industry. There was need to manage expectations for a new industry like the oil and gas. The mineral sector, on the other hand, needed significant investment into exploration to be able to quantify the reserves that we have as a country. So the Chamber of Mines and Petroleum quickly put together platforms for both the mining and the petroleum to spotlight these two sectors. These quickly grew into regional and international platforms, bringing together stakeholders and sector players from all over the globe. At the end of 2012, in October, the Mineral Wealth Conference was launched.
After the launch of the annual Mineral Wealth Conference, UCMP purposed to spotlight the mineral sector. The leadership organized a full day's retreat with His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to discuss Uganda's mineral potential. At the time when the mining and petroleum sectors were largely misunderstood, the chamber took on stakeholder engagements, field visits, business-to-business networking, participation at international events, mainly in partnership with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. At the same time, the chamber was advocating for regional integration to utilize the natural resource with optimum value retention in country and within the region. This was at a time definitive decisions were being made in the sector in preparation for the development phase of oil and gas, and when the President agreed to have an annual dialogue with both the government and private sector through the Presidential Investors Roundtable, the chamber took on the opportunity to get involved in the discussions to highlight the opportunities and challenges in both the minerals and petroleum sectors.
Having a mining roundtable, good. I'm ready. We can talk more. Anytime each year we can meet and talk.
This was in addition to the relentless efforts for annual engagements on both the mining and petroleum, bringing together dignitaries from all over the globe for lessons and benchmarking.
We've decided it will be an annual event. Instead of people rushing to Indaba in Cape Town, we want to make Kampala the next Indaba in this region and Africa.
I want to thank the UNDP rep for sponsoring, together with all the other sponsors. Thank you for making this meeting possible. You have also educated me about the potential of the wealth in our country.
The board of directors, under the able leadership of Dr. Eli Karuanga, have really done a sterling job. I must also extend
the success of the chamber over the years has thrived on the goodwill, commitment and selflessness of its leadership that continue to work voluntarily year after year.
We have a man here called Paul Shawin. That was the former chairman of Mines, and then I took over as a Ugandan citizen. Yes. But yesterday we had the keynote guest of honor from Commission of African Union had to come and land in Entebbe at 3 a.m. Paul Shawin drove to pick our guest speaker at 3 a.m., drove him here, was master of ceremony the whole day, escorted him to the airport, continued to be master of ceremony. The level of dedication, that man only was able to catch sleep last night.
Somebody once said to me, to do business, you have to earn the right to do business. And I think for Ugandans at the moment, it's the chance and the time to be ready to be part of the next step in the oil and gas industry. So
this is a forum that we appreciate very much. I would like to start by thanking the Chamber of Mines and Petroleum for this August event that updates the progress and future plans of the oil and gas sector in this country.
Mr. Karanga, the chairperson of the Petroleum Chamber, has told me that in the audience there are people who have got improved magic and that they can get more oil out of this world than using new technology than the old technology. And therefore, wish to organize and appreciate the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum and its partners, Uganda Freight Forwarders Association, and all the other partners for organizing this event.
Private Sector Foundation and the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum continue to spearhead these efforts that are geared towards spotlighting enormous opportunities that will come with oil and gas projects in Uganda.
With the foundation fully laid and meaningful partnerships established, the Chamber leadership, in consultation with the members, undertook a constitutional review to introduce a new board, among other things, the Board of Trustees, that would safeguard the continuity of the organization. The board, at the same time, established a 5-year strategic plan, with the strategic pillars being lobbying and advocacy, business support services, research and development, stakeholder engagement, and an efficient internal organization.
Utilizing the power of partnerships, the Chamber, in partnership with some of its members and with support from the Skills Development Facility funded by the World Bank through Private Sector Foundation, has carried out skilling and certification of young workers in the fields of pipe fitting, welding, scaffolding, and electricals to international standards. And now, a new set of leaders has been constituted to drive the Chamber forward. The team has further refocused UCMP's strategy to local content promotion and employment creation, access to finance, skilling and upskilling, as well as certification of local players to meet international standards as required by the mining and oil and gas sectors. It's a new dawn. But the contribution of the team that has driven the UCMP strategy thus far, departed and alive, will always be remembered. From a few million shillings to billions, to a team so patriotic and so selfless, to the unwavering commitment, to the successes registered and many more to come, for laying a strong foundation for Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. It is a term well served. So we say, thank you for a wonderful 11 years of service to the Chamber.